If you are that person like I was once that is watched hours and hours and hours, maybe hundreds of hours of Gary Vaynerchuk, GaryVee, Alex Hormozi, or different business podcasts, whatever it is that you watch, and this month you have watched all their videos of the month that they have posted. If that is you, but you have done nothing and your bank account is in the same place and you have not sold to a single person, you haven't began your business, why is it that you continue to do the exact same thing that is not leading you anywhere? The issue is not that you're watching tons of videos. The issue is that you're watching tons of videos, but you're never putting it into practice. I was one of those people, so I'm no one to judge. But the fact of the matter is that what made things change for me was when I got up and I began to sell what I was and build what I wanted to build and sell. In the end of the day, you are treating entrepreneurship like if it were Netflix. It's not Netflix. You have to be active and you have to be hands-on. You are addicted to the feeling of learning, of feeling like you're going to start a business, of understanding how to start a business, of understanding how to do sales, but you never actually do it. You never actually get down to get your hands dirty and do the work. Don't be the person that watches tons of videos and never, ever goes out there and begins to do and apply what you have just learned in anything in life. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, especially, there's a ton of things you have to do, and there's a ton of work, and it requires you grinding, it requires you setting things up, it requires you going out there and selling it, and it requires you putting in the work week after week. Don't put in the work by watching videos. Stop watching videos if that's what you have to do, and begin to sit down and work on your product. Now, watching videos is beneficial. I still do it to this day, so I'm not asking you to continue to completely stop watching videos. But if it means watching less so that you can focus more on what matters, on building the business that these people that we are teaching you to do, then do it. Watch less and begin to work more. That is what matters in the end of the day, that you put in the work. The reality is that you don't need another course. You don't need another book on your mindset, on how to improve and be consistent, on your leadership skills. That's not necessarily what you need. Although they are beneficial, you need to put in the reps. It's amazing to learn about how to do a bench press, but it's more amazing when you begin to do the bench presses. Reading a book about bench pressing 100 times is not going to lead you as far as benching 100 times. In the end of the day, it's hands-on practice. In the end of the day, it's putting in the work that will lead you to be actually doing something with the business, with the things that you want to do and that you have learned. Stop sitting down, stop watching video after video after video, stop reading book after book after book, and begin to put in the reps. Begin to develop your skill. Begin to perfect your form, right? When you are benching, when you begin to learn, when you're benching is how to perfect your form. You begin to get more strength. Reading and watching videos on it is not going to get you there. The same applies to become with your business. If you expect to grow your business by watching a video and understanding and learning and building the skill but never putting it into practice, then what are you actually watching the videos for? What are you actually reading a book for? What is it for if you're not putting it into execution, if you're not executing it, if you're not putting it into work? If you want to escape the 9 to 5, which everyone wants to do nowadays, if that is what you want to do and you want to begin your business, you want to manage your own schedule, and you would love the idea of being able to be as successful as some of these business people out there, you have to stop watching what other people build and what other people do, and you need to begin to focus more on what you are going to do. It is nice to watch and learn from other people. It is important. I 100% believe that one of the most important things a business owner can do is refine their skill. But more importantly than that is do the work that they need to do for their business. In the end of the day, that is what's going to change the 9 to 5. That is what's going to change your bank account. That is what's going to pay the bills. So stop sitting down and watching so many things and begin to put in the work. People build their dreams not by watching videos, not by reading a book, not by doing different tasks and attending different conferences, although that helps improve your craft. People sit down and build what they want to build by putting brick after brick and begin to building what they want to build. By the way, if you are tired of sitting there and continuing to be a spectator and are ready to actually work with the path of freedom that you want to work toward, if you are ready to begin to build what you want to build and put in those bricks into place so that your business could get somewhere, so that you could quit that 9 to 5, so that you can sit down and actually get some money in the bank and pay some bills, if that is you, hit the subscribe button. We don't just consume on this channel, we execute. One of my stories is that I started as finance coaching. Matter of fact, one of the reasons my business started as Santos Financial is because I started as full-on one-on-one finance coaching. And what I was doing was building up on something that I had already been doing in the past, where I was doing a side gig, and I started this whole LLC, getting back to the finance coaching and beginning to work on it after a brief pause of several months. What I began to realize as I went is I began to realize what the market of finance coaching really was. And when I began to go out there and do it myself, I began to realize how difficult it really is. Now, again, finance coaches can 100% be successful. There are finance coaches that are successful out there, but I realized that I had much more leverage going into the system that I already understood, GoHighLevel, and being able to market what I already knew how to work with, what I already have marketed in the past. And building systems for blue collar guys was the thing that I began to realize was going to work better as a business in general. I only figured that out because I was actively in the arena testing things. I was actively putting ads out there. I put several ads out there. I was doing several social media posts organically, and I was doing all the work to begin to build this up. But after several months of working and working and working, and of sitting down and doing consultations through my ads, free consultations, and when it came down to closing the client, it was unsuccessful almost every single time. So what began to happen is that I began to realize that I needed to pivot. And again, pivoting for me meant going from finance coaching into selling a system, and that can mean something different for you. Or maybe you don't have to pivot. But the fact of the matter is that I understood I needed to pivot because I was out there putting in the work, trying to build the bricks, but the bricks kept on falling, the bricks kept on cracking, and what I realized I needed to do was shift. Maybe that is not your case, but in the end of the day, you cannot pivot a parked car. You cannot pivot something that is steady in place and is stuck in the same situation always. In the end of the day, you have to start moving. The way that you start a business is not staying stationary, is by building action, is by beginning to go out there and put in the work so that your business could grow. In the end of the day, being stationary is going to lead to you staying exactly where you are now. If you are content with that, then go ahead and be stationary. But if you want to change parts of your life, if you want to improve parts of your life, if you want to have more money in your bank, if you want to be able to have a more free schedule, right? Well, what they say, although that gets a little bit complicated, it's not always a free schedule, but you get to manage your schedule more. If that is what you want to begin to do, then sit down and realize that sitting there and doing the same thing is not going to change anything. So stop learning things you don't need yet. In the end of the day, this learning how to scale a Facebook ad is not what's going to build and sell your product. It's not important to know how to scale a Facebook ad, to know how to improve a Facebook ad and do A and B testing. In the end of the day, what does that matter if you don't even have a product that is fully built out yet? You don't even have a product that's half built out yet. In the end of the day, building out your product, having it to a place that it is sellable, and being able to do that is much more important than learning how to scale an ad, because scaling an ad will come when you have a fully built product. Learn the exact skill you need to solve the problem directly in front of you today. That is how you build real systems. It's not by going and reading tons and tons of books and watching all these things, but at the end of the day, doing nothing. No, it is about putting in the work first and foremost. And then second, refining your craft. I think that is important. I said it before, but more importantly is going out there and building what you need to build. It's out there and putting concrete. It's out there and putting bricks and laying them brick upon brick upon brick. It's not about learning how to do it, learning how to improve on it, but never actually doing it. More importantly is doing it and then beginning to refine your skill as you go. Don't be the person that is stuck watching tons of videos, that loves learning new things and learning new skills and refining a skill that you're never putting into practice. Put it into practice. Put in the work. Get the grit. Build the system. Do whatever it is you need to do in whatever environment you are so that you can begin to sell your product and change your life. Videos are not going to do that. Videos are not going to change your life. It is you going out there, getting the grit, and putting the boots on and selling it. It is you picking up the phone and selling it. It is you posting the ad, and that is what's going to build the dream that you have for your personal life and for your business. I want to challenge you. As soon as this video ends, I want you to close the laptop. I want you to close this video, and I want you to get off of YouTube and do 30 minutes of deep work. See you in the next video, and don't forget, give it a comment, a like, a subscribe, or hit the notifications button so that you can get notified whenever we post a video here. Don't forget, putting in the work is always more important than beginning to watch videos. So put it down, close it, and begin to work. Just 30 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, day after day after day. Put in the work, consistently show up every single time, and show your grit, show your character. Again, your path to freedom is here. It is in your hands. It is today.